Hi there, it's John here. The whole the whole issue of the freedom of will is very difficult, isn't it? I suppose where I come from is, or my take on it is that right at the core, we do have this ability to make a choice. But that, of course, it's not a pure choice in the sense that there's always going to be factors that influence it. And those factors are partly, if you like, biological, excuse me. Our bodies dictate certain limitations. I cannot choose to do something impossible, like suddenly sort of fly in the air like Superman. So we have those physical limitations. We have the impact of that our families and our upbringing has on us. We have the impact of the things that we've been taught to believe. All of those factors. We've got other people's opinions and views. We've got the programming, inverted commas, that we've received. We have things like biological factors, fight and flight, that actually override. So when we're feeling threatened, the more primitive parts of the brain activate a whole load of energy for fleeing or for fighting. And those things are not strictly within our will. They just happen. The freeze mechanism cuts in if the attack is, if we feel that the attack is going to succeed, or again, it's not even a question of will, it's an override and it happens. I remember seeing a wonderful program called Meerkat Manor, where the freeze operation is vividly demonstrated. There's a meerkat and there's a snake, and the snake is just about to pounce on the meerkat, and the meerkat is frozen. And just as it's going to happen, a bird swoops down and takes the snake. The meerkat then came out of the freeze and escaped, basically, from death. So I think at the heart, yes, we have freedom of will, but it's constrained and limited and affected by the circumstances around us. I suppose on a very deep level, even when we are involved in something like a religious cult with those incredible constraints, we still in some way make a choice, and that choice is made, and the factors involved are things like peer pressure to conform, the price of not conforming, and that's a part of that choice. The price of conforming is another part of it. If we don't conform, then, as you were describing, we have all sorts of social pressures, people shunning us and losing family. And if we do conform, then we almost contort ourselves to conform, and we pay a personal price, an emotional price, for that conforming. I have relatives who are Jehovah's Witnesses, and I've seen the price that they pay, and the conflict that is deep within. And I suppose, I guess, stepfordescapee, when you made that decision to leave the Watchtower, you made that decision to pay the price of no longer conforming. I suppose that, in a way, is a demonstration that you had freedom of will, and that you exercised that freedom. I went through a similar thing in a fundamentalist church that I was in, and eventually it got very, very close to me, because I guess that when I decided to leave, I was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. And I left and avoided it, just about. But it was about that balance between the price that I paid for conforming, or the price that I paid for not doing so. And eventually the price that I paid to conform was too high. It got too much. I couldn't pay the price anymore. And I left. I went. And right at the heart of everything is my belief is that we have a choice. We have a choice to go within and be authentic and true, or we have a choice to keep up the masks and keep up the pretense. And whatever we choose, there is a price to pay. In the sort of counselling work I do, people are faced with this choice every day. They have a choice to go inside. They have a choice to become a little bit more authentic, to face the demons within, or they have a choice to keep up the masks, keep up the pretense. And it's an act of bravery to face the things within. And in the end, when we consistently face what is within, we get better. When I have consistently chosen to face what is within, then my own mental health has improved. And I've done other videos on it, but there's a lovely phrase that I love, which is, I am aware, therefore I am. Not I think, therefore I am, but I'm aware. And that's a really important thing. I can choose to be aware of my inner critic and inner doubter. I can choose to be aware of and not wrapped up in the negative thoughts. I can choose to be aware of the impulses to act in a destructive way without giving in to them or agreeing with them. I can choose to be aware of the impulses within to distraction. I can choose to be aware as well that there are parts of me that are not like that. There are parts of me that are happy, that are joyful, that are merry. There's an inner clown who loves to joke. And ultimately, yes, I think we have a choice. We have this freedom of will. And however we decide to use it, there is a price to pay. Thank you for listening.